Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Change Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Tim McBride. If you're not familiar, this is a platform where I invite local industry leaders and influencers, people I call agents of change, both on a local and national scale, to come share their stories in hopes that we can inspire others. I'm excited about this episode for many reasons, but one in particular is I've got to know these two brothers really well, and they've started part of a franchise here in the Valley that is serving in the health and wellness space. And in a time where there's so much uncertainty, I truly believe in exercise and fitness and health and immune system. And these guys, through F45, have not only created a great gym environment or athletic training facility, but they've really leaned into the community to serve the needs of people like myself that are looking for the perfect environment to train, stay healthy, stay fit, and stay active. So I thought I'd bring Connor and Kyle Shores on. They are the owners of the franchise F45 in Scottsdale Midtown, and they're going to share a little bit about their story, what inspired them in athletics through their early years, what kind of drew them to the franchise of F45, share a little bit of the history of it, and then kind of want to dive into how they've really managed COVID and how they've had to readjust their business and how to kind of lean in and not just take a seat back and hope that things could get better. So thanks for joining me, guys. Like I said, it's been a pleasure getting to know you these last few months as I've been training at your space. But I'm excited for you guys to share your story so more people can be aware of who you are, what you're building with F45, and the impact you're having in our city. So I got a big brother and a younger brother. Who wants to go first?
Well, to be honest with you, Connor over here, he's the one that got us all involved in this. So I'll let him kind of get into, how he found it and how we ended up being where we are right now.
Perfect. Connor, if you will.
Well, thank you for having us, Tim. Well, I kind of found this concept because I was trying to find what I wanted to do with my life. I grew up wanting to always take care of people, I guess you can say, or kind of help people. I always had that urge, and my passion is fitness. So what I did in college is I studied business, originally pre-med, but went into business. And I found it right after, and there was one studio in the Valley that was open, and it was out in North Scottsdale, and I went out and checked it out. Did my digging, found out that it was a franchise. And I was like, Mom, let's look into this. So I looked into it, did all my research, and I really approached my older brother at the time who was working on his own swim business, a very successful swim business in Old Town Scottsdale. And I kind of brought him into it in a nutshell, and we kind of started the first mega studio, if you will, in Arizona. So we merged with that first original studio. We kind of overtook it. Okay. And moved into our bigger location.
So quick question on that. So both of you have a strong background in athletics, right? So swimming is kind of the sport of choice for both of you.
Yeah.
So your understanding of the gyms out there or the fitness world, what was it what about F45 really motivated you to kind of seek them as opposed to maybe like a CrossFit franchise or, all these other kind of, brick and mortar type spaces that aren't just your typical gym?
Yeah, growing up in the competitive swimming space and really working towards that high goal of Olympic trials and trying to qualify for the Olympics. We both swam pretty much since we were 5 years old, all the way through college and then post-college as well. And so you're constantly looking to fine-tune your health and wellness to increase performance. And through that, we found a lot of different training modalities and different training methods. We're experimenting with different things throughout our entire career. And so you're kind of learning what really connects your mind to the body in terms of, land movement. We had to learn how to apply land movement to water movement. And that was something that a lot of people don't really understand how to do. But it's more of a sport-specific training focus. And so when we found F45 and the way that they approach their training with the different methodologies that they create through their corporate performance team, it's very similar to what we were doing with that explosive hit style circuit training that was more sport specific. You can kind of curtail it to what your lifestyle needs are. So if you're into hiking, if you're into running, if you're into doing your Ragnars or your Spartan races or a triathlon, this is basically collegiate level athletic training geared towards the general population. So it's scalable. where you can come in, and if you don't really know how to move very well, you can start at a very basic level, and then you can advance up based on the coaching staff and what their background is, and you can elevate that standard workout into an extremely elite level. So you're constantly working through different progressions to really get the results that you desire, whether it's just being more mobile in life, being able to, work out with your kids or play around with your kids, as you get older, or just coming in there and kind of focusing with yourself. I mean, the vibe inside of one of our studios is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's a club-like, Vegas-like atmosphere, but it's super friendly, and our community is just something that has really been that foundation and that cornerstone for us growing the way that we have.
And it's evident as someone that, obviously trains with you guys, the community component is massive. You can be at any level. I think the level of comfortability is there at whatever stage you are. And you guys have the personal attention to each individual to see them where they're at and meet those needs. And I love the concept of technology too. You're not in a gym where, I'm not insecure, but, I think when people are trying to, train or, work on themselves, mirrors can be something that are kind of a turn off. And I love that there's no mirrors. It's just human-to-human interaction, conversation, and community. And then you have the technology to show you the movements if you have questions without kind of feeling insecure about yourself. So I think the space is really neat and kind of plays to this kind of new age training space that we're seeing. But with that, Kyle, you started sharing a lot there, but a little bit about your background. You mentioned swimming. So both of you, same colleges, different colleges. Like, did you ever achieve kind of your levels of or your goals in the swim industry?
Yeah, it's one of those things where going through. I was a swimmer here locally at Brophy Prep, just down the street from here. We both swam there and did really well through that, and so we gained a lot of exposure into the university level of what that looks like in different trainings. Connor kind of speak to his experience with that. We ended up finishing at the same college at different times, but my journey kind of landed from kind of a U of A starting point up to a University of Utah starting point, and then kind of finishing down here at Grand Canyon University as a starting point. And so
a tour, if you will.
Yeah, I took the tour of the Southwest, and it ended up being extremely valuable for me. Finishing at Grand Canyon was an amazing experience. Steve Schaefer, I think, is still the head coach there as well. He's ran a great program. And it's one of those things too where he's brought in so much talent from around the world. So you're almost becoming, a more, wholesome swimmer in the sense of gaining the perspective of all these different athletes from all over the world coming into one area and training together for a common purpose. And so coming from that background of swimming, where we train as a team, but we're competing individually on most of our events, that's a very similar flow to what we do in the studio every day. Is we're there training as a one big team for the common goal of health and wellness and really bettering ourselves. But we're really competing within ourselves of really pushing through. And you kind of hinted on the fact that we don't have mirrors in our studio. And we always get asked, well, why? Like, what about technique and form? And that's where our two trainers for every single class, it forces the coaching engagement. And that's something that really separates what we do compared to other HIIT style training, concepts and CrossFit and things like that, or even personal training, is that not only are you going to get that group environment and feeling the vibe of that, you're going to get that one-on-one coaching experience where the coach is forced to engage you because you're not able to see yourself. And so it kind of bridges the gap and really kind of bonds that coach and trainer relationship.
And to the next level, you guys are always there. So it's not just your business. You guys are living it each and every day and engaging with all of your clients, all the guests, and doing the programs themselves. So it's always inspiring for someone like myself that's coming in, seeing one of you as a coach and one of you actually going through the process too and understanding, the struggles that some of these programs can be. So it makes it that much more inviting. And when you guys do have a position on a movement or a program, you respect it that much more because you're living it and breathing it every day. So from some of the trainers, I love that element of it. You're not just there kind of, suit and tie, making sure the business is running, making money. You guys are there invested in each and every individual. And that's that's a testament, I think, just to who you guys are as brothers. So you mentioned health and wellness, and this is something my family and I are very, passionate about. And I think right now the world we're living in is obviously completely upside down, and most of our days are being disrupted, whether it be professionally or personally. There is a huge nutritional component to your business as well, and to the training there. And it's something that I think is very evident the minute you walk in. I think that's important because you don't see enough of that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And as we've been told to stay indoors, I think health and wellness and nutrition and exercise is something that people are lacking right now. And I think there's a detriment to our community because of that. But you guys have really leaned in. Just from a macro perspective, how has COVID-19 changed the way your business is run? I know how it has because I see it, but how have you guys managed that as owners, as participants, and how have you embraced it, and what have you learned from it?
Well, I mean, to be honest, we immediately made the switch when Governor Ducey decided to close down gyms here. We knew that we had to keep our community active, engaged, because we personally thrive off of it, so we know they do as well. So what we did was, we're like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna run outdoor classes because we could. So we are like, let's just run early morning classes where we can still offer the same kind of programming in a sense. Obviously, we don't have the technology and stuff like that as indoors, but it's going to be a safe environment outside, and we run those 45-minute classes.
Yeah, definitely. We expanded on kind of the indoor environment. We tried to replicate that as much as possible outside. And with being outside, we can have and service a lot more clients at a time. And our landlord was very generous in allowing us to use the space outside of our studio to accommodate that. And so everyone is spread out at least 8 to 10 feet apart. And we are able to use the equipment from inside of our studio and be able to bring it in and out very efficiently, in the sense of being able to really service a lot of our strength workouts in combination with our cardio workouts. And so, it just kind of blends everything together. It kind of it's very cohesive, and the glue is obviously people showing up every day. But also we do rely on very heavily our staff. I mean, our training staff are very proud of the staff that we've been able to build, and their commitment to the community and being able to keep everybody engaged as well. So, I mean, our entire membership gets to see the variety of the coaches. They get to see the coaches taking the classes. They get to see the different coaches using their different perspectives and methodologies on training. And so we allow them their creative outlet right now too, to really expand on what they like to do. And so it keeps it fresh, it keeps it interesting. And every workout that we do is different outside as well as inside too. So that's something that we're keeping it consistent.
I think that's something for someone like myself that's just tired of going to the gym. I think that's what I found as I got a little older, family. I'm not really training for anything anymore. There's really no goal in mind other than just stay fit, stay healthy. I go to the gym and I just, I lift the same weights, do the same movements, and I feel like there's no results. So when you go to a place like F45, not only does it challenge you completely from head to toe, but it's never the same. So mentally, I can't get in my own head. Like, I know what I'm expecting today.
Right.
Maybe I'll pass on that one. Because it's going to be different each and every time. A lot of the movements can be similar, but they're always tweaked and adjusted. And I think that challenge is something that will keep people coming back. And I love that that's a part of F45.
Right.
But a question now.
Yeah.
Let's go a little more personal.
Let's do it.
This is actually my first, for people that are going to watch this, first kind of fireside chat. Usually, we're sitting at an up desk, so I like that we're sitting back in these chairs. But, as someone that has started a company with a friend that was near and dear, and, both of us made mistakes, there was challenges, and things didn't work out the way either of us had planned. But it's nothing that I would ever try again in terms of going to business with friends and family. How's it been for you guys, starting a business, running a business, not as friends, but as actual brothers? And you can tell that you guys are friends too, the way you interact. You guys are definitely doing life together. But how has it been, the goods and the bads, or the struggles that come with running a business and being brothers?
I think it's been it's been a blessing. I mean, it has. I mean, awesome. Like any relationship, whether it's friends or family, you're going to have your disagreements. But I think that, when we're invested in something as large as what we're doing with F45 Scottsdale Midtown, it's something that, we have to look at the big picture. and really work through those communication channels and really understand what each other are, really wanting to achieve out of this. Doing family business and being a part of a family business pretty much my entire life, from what my parents have done on to what Connor and I are doing now. It feels normal to us. But from an outsider's perspective, yes, it can definitely be a challenge to work with not only family, but also brothers. And we used to live together at one point as well, which probably put a little bit more of a strain on things than we really wanted to. So things are much better now, but things have been great. I mean, I think from Connor's perspective too, he can hint on some things from that, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It's been a blessing, and knowing that your brother is invested the same way that you are, that the resilience is there, and the loyalty and the determination to really overcome any obstacle. They're going to be with you the entire time and have your back on that. And that's something that you might not necessarily get with an outsider helping you run any business.
Absolutely.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's been the biggest or the best ride of my life so far. Working with my older brother, I've looked up to him my entire life, and I don't tell him that too much. But I've always.
It's a good thing we're recording this.
I know.
Yeah,
He's got it.
It's on video now. You have it forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love working with him and also my family on the business in the back side of it. And honestly, it comes down to the trust and the faith that I have with them, and it's been amazing.
So as you guys got into it, what would you say are your strengths in the business and maybe your weaknesses, and your strengths and weaknesses, and how have you been able to work side by side with those? Because I think that's really important. It's something I think I failed on when I started a business with a really good friend, is either relying too heavily on a strength of someone or not trusting myself and my certain abilities that I had because, obligations to the other partner. So I think what's important is really knowing where your gifts are, where your strengths are, and understanding where those weaknesses are, and do they complement each other?
I think they definitely do, between the two of us. I'm definitely more task driven.
Okay.
So I've always been the type of person, like I get my homework done when I was in school, like 2 weeks in advance.
Nice.
So I was always moving forward, like trying to get stuff done. He always got his stuff done as well, but he's really more creative than I am, on like the training side and kind of the social media side as well. So I'm more of the back end type stuff with the business. I do that with our mother, and he's more on the front lines with the trainers and stuff like that. But we do have similar stuff that we do together still.
Yeah, I mean, both of us have a lot of confidence with what we know and what we do, and it's one of those things where I think I constantly try to push the boundaries of what we can do with the platform of F45 and the training. It's something where there's gyms all over the place. There's gyms on every other corner. There's a boutique gyms over here. There's big box gyms over there, and the only thing that's going to separate anyone from each other is going to be the creativity, the way we deliver our message with our training through the entire team. So from the top to the bottom, the message is going to be consistent. At least ideally, that's what it should be. And so, I love taking kind of the creative approach with the training and understanding how to customize the workouts for each individual person within our workouts. So like as our entire staff gets to know you, and we like to say this whenever new members join, is that you're not just hiring a personal trainer, you're hiring a team of trainers. You're hiring 8 or 9 trainers that are going to be developing you over the course of the next 3, 6, 12 months. So, and so you're going to be able to see and have those different perspectives. So we encourage the creativity of our entire team, but with the sense of I constantly try to push them and lead them into more of a creative space, is saying, hey, let's take this type of movement and let's add this movement within the F45 structure to create a fun, exciting vibe within each workout. And so, like if you were to come in And as we get to know Tim, which we have, we know that he likes to grab the same 28-pound dumbbells every single time. So it's like, we can go through our entire membership and know, hey, they always grab these, or they always do this, or they always fault back to this movement where, hey, let's stay on top of them. And so we educate our staff to say, hey, listen, like, we're going to continuously structure these workouts to become more and more unique for you and each individual member within the big group. So you're always going to get a custom workout.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that, because it's evident from a consumer of the product and you guys in the training. And it's something I've actually used in how I think about real estate. When I got into this business, I've shared it many times. I never saw myself as a realtor, but the biggest blessing I probably had in my life is that the business that I thought I was scaling would be my legacy closed down. Because real estate gave me the vehicle where I could do so much more and use so many more of my talents and interests in areas that I never thought I could.
Right.
And part of that is because real estate gives me the ability to engage with people and create relationships with people. And when I got into it, I saw so many using it as a transactional type of industry where it's all about the deal, and the relationship is kind of put in the rears, if you will.
Right.
Where my whole idea is, like, I just want to build real relationships with people. And if I can build that relationship, that trust, that respect, then business will come. And it's not about the goal of a deal. And business has done very well, and opportunities have come, and I've been able to create products off of it. But I see that when I go into your gym, is that you're invested in me and my growth and the relationship you have with me, not necessarily like in 6 months you're going to have a six pack. You want to understand that you're connecting with me, maybe where some weaknesses are. Let's fill those weaknesses and work with you in the journey and trust the journey, enjoy the journey. I think, and there's so much to be said in that, because I think that so many people go to the gym looking for a quick result, fulfill a quick goal. And then they don't sustain, right?
Right.
They're just looking for results. I mean, maybe superficial, but
right.
I love that you guys have and done such a good job at, or authentically connecting with each individual member. And that's something that every time I go, I can feel, and it's something I try to take with me into my business, because each relationship is important, no matter what price point or no matter what stage they're at in any type of real estate transaction.
Yeah.
If I can trust that, then all things can come to the end result. So I thank you for that. I just want to quickly share, because with what you're saying, it just kind of resonated with me again. So it shows how you really are connecting and helping people, not just in the minutes you're with them, but that relationship feeds into our business worlds, our personal worlds as well.
100%. And I think even just segueing into kind of a little bit of stress, right? I mean, we all experience stress in different ways, mental stress, physical stress. And when we're kind of in that stressful environment, what is the message kind of being told? And, how are you absorbing that message of, okay, this is a physical stress, but how is that relatable to the mental stress that you may be dealing with outside of the workout or in your everyday life with your family, your friends? It's managing the stress. And so that physical stress, we're teaching you how to manage that, but also connecting your mind to that physical stress. And so you're able to even work through the mental stress barriers a little bit differently. At least that is the hope from what our focus is.
Yeah. Awesome. So, you've gone through a lot these last few months. I think in the media, we're seeing that gyms are really pushing back to open their doors.
Yeah.
I know you guys are doing everything by the book, which we appreciate. What can you share to the audience? Like, what can they expect from F45 here moving forward?
Right.
How can they connect with you, build the relationship while you're still transitioning from working outside to hopefully open up the doors in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think for us, we've put in our application for exemption, our appeal. I mean, we've done everything that we possibly can. It's kind of up to the hands of the Arizona Department of Health Services now, whether to approve us to pre-open. What's really unique about our studio specifically is that our landlord has installed some hospital-grade UV light air purification systems for our studio specifically, which is absolutely amazing. A state-of-the-art technology that's going in a lot of mass transit across the country right now. And so we're very fortunate to be able to have that extra layer of protection from airborne viruses and bacteria and mold and things like that. So that's something that kind of separates a little bit of what we do in terms of the actual four walls that we are in. But in terms of overcoming, kind of the COVID situation is, we are going to be running indoor and outdoor classes. Okay. So once we get the official approval to resume indoor classes. We're going to offer limited capacity class sizes for indoors. In the mornings, we're going to be offering a hybrid of where you can be indoors or outdoors, and we're going to be staffing that. So it's going to be pretty amazing to see that vibe take place. And then in the afternoons, we will be running indoor classes. And you can always follow us, send us a message or a DM on F45 Scottsdale Midtown is our Instagram handle. You can look us up on f45training.com/Scottsdale Midtown as well. And so those are ways to kind of get in touch with us and reach out. We are offering a 3-day experience or a 3-day trial right now for you to come in and get to meet our staff, get to meet the community, and then also experience a really good sweat. So that's kind of how that is now. I mean, fingers crossed that we're going to be opening tomorrow or within the next week. We've kind of been in the dark. I mean, it's definitely something where there's been some sleepless nights. Not knowing whether or not we're going to be open in a week or a month or 2 months. It's been very difficult to plan. I know the entire fitness industry, from the big box all the way down to the mom and pop, have really felt that stress. I know that the governor's office and the Arizona Department of Health Services is doing their best to try to do what's best for the for the entire community at large. But I think this is unprecedented times, and so we have to be flexible. But we want to make sure that we're taking care of our micro community, so that if our micro community is taken care of, the macro community at large should also benefit, to a certain extent.
And before we got on your corner, you were talking about part of the resources that are available to the membership, and I think it's important that people know is the application. So if you're someone that's still in a position where you're not quite comfortable going out to a gym, you have the application available where people can do the in-home workouts as well, correct?
Correct. So if you're a member with us at F45 Scottsdale Midtown, you get access to recovery sessions, live sessions by our athletic department at our corporate office in LA. And it's all done through an app called F45 Live. And what you get to do is every single week they change up the workouts that you can do at home. You can actually even order F45 Live kits that they send the equipment that they use in the workouts, if you choose to use the weighted version or the equipment version of the workouts, to your house, and you can do them inside your home.
It's been very beneficial, and even on top of that application of just having access to the at-home workouts, the on-demand sessions, is the fact that within the same app you have all of the nutritional support with what you're looking for. It tells you specifically if you're looking to do this or lose weight or gain muscle mass. It's gonna curtail the menu. For you to be able to go to the grocery store. It's going to tell you exactly what to buy, how to prep it. And so you get a full online resource through the F45 Challenge app, is where you can access the live sessions, as well as the on-demand and
Challenge app. Sorry, been up early. Challenge app.
And then
we'll make sure we have that in the write-up after.
Right. So you'll be able to have all those workouts, and it's pretty amazing how F45 has really accelerated this platform to be able to provide the F45 experience at home, and so you and your family can partake in this, and it's just a really great resource. There's a lot of free stuff out there, but there's nothing out there that really puts it all into one place with the common focus of really progressing the health and wellness industry forward. I mean, they are thinking light years ahead of what's going on today, and so it's going to be really exciting to see how F45 explodes over the next year and beyond with that.
And it's definitely, I think we're running out of time here, so I want to kind of wrap it up, but this is something that didn't start locally, correct? This is an Australian-born business, and it's flourished there, and it's just recently, in the last few years, made a footprint here in the United States, right?
Correct.
And is Arizona one of the first states to kind of adopt F45?
California was almost 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now how long have we been in operation here?
Just over 2 years, 2.5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guys, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I think personally that I really enjoy the space and really enjoy, training with you guys and the challenge you guys put into my life every single day. And I think more than ever, we're in a world where health and wellness needs to be a priority for people. Our immune systems are being compromised every single day. I believe that we stay indoors, and you guys have leaned in. You've made your space available, even though it can't be within the four walls. It's outdoors. You made yourself available. You have the resources available to keep us strong and healthy. And that's how we're going to get out of this at the end of the day, is coming together as a community, supporting one another, and leaning into each other. So I can't thank you enough, and I hope this conversation is going to create some inspiration for people out there that hear it. If they're in kind of the, I guess you could say, training world, how could someone reach out to you guys to ask questions, to learn more about, what you guys do from a training standpoint that could help them in maybe whatever their pursuits could be? Are you open for those types of conversations?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we have a great staff. I mean, you can reach out to us at Scottsdale Midtown at F45training.com. Our Instagram handle is F45 _ Scottsdale Midtown.
Okay.
We are very responsive on all of those platforms, Facebook as well. F45 Training Scottsdale Midtown is our specific studio location.
Okay.
And we are located off of Shea Boulevard and Scottsdale Road, so right in the central heart of Scottsdale.
So convenient. Well, guys, thank you again for the work you're doing. Thank you for the friendship, and thank you for coming on and just sharing in conversation. Like I said, I hope people will be drawn to the work you're doing. More memberships will flow in, questions will be asked, but more importantly, you guys can impact more lives here in our city. So I don't have them in front of me, but I am a huge hat collector. New Era is kind of one of my brands. I have hundreds of them over the years. So I have Change Agent New Era snapbacks, one for each of you, as a token of my appreciation for the work you guys are doing. So keep doing what you're doing, keep leading, keep changing our community for the better, keep us healthy and strong. And, I think we'll get through this a lot quicker than we think. So
Thank you, Tim.
and again, anyone that's listening, all the information to reach out to them will be underneath on our YouTube channel, on the website, but all those links will be available. These guys are an open book. I highly suggest reaching out and come check out the class, train with us. And they may put the Instagram story camera in front of you and make you look like you're a little outdated, but hey, it's totally worth it.